Okay, we're going to skip ahead to group 5. I believe you're over there. So talk to me about Thoreau's very famous essay on the duty of civil disobedience. What's he talking about here?
He's discussing how the government is no longer representing the people fairly, and how some of the people in the government are abusing their power.
Excellent. That's a very good summary of this passage from Civil Disobedience. Thoreau is just this step shy of anarchist. So which of the 3 claims did you want to talk about?
We did pathos.
Okay.
And one example we found, do you want me to read it? The government itself, which is only the mode which the people have chosen to execute their will, is equally liable to be abused and perverted before the people can act through it.
Okay. Kristen, you are totally on the right track. So 2 things I want you to do for me. One is if you are talking about pathos, I want to know which emotion. What emotion? Angry. Okay, good. We should be angry. Second question, Kristen, in that passage that you just cited, which words do you think really have negative connotations and make me want to feel angry? Point to words. There you go. I'm looking through the passage to see if I see any other really flagrant words which seem to bring out negative emotions. But it seems like those 2 are the most. Abuse and perversion. So talking about abuse, talking about perversion, using these words associated with government can help me feel angry or at least alienated from government. So his use of language can do that. Let's talk about ethos again. What kind of guy is Thoreau? I'm sorry? True, he's a philosopher, naturalist, creative writer. But I mean, from this passage, what do we know Thoreau is? Looking at his personal identity. Is he educated or uneducated? How do you know that? How do I read this and know the person's educated? You're going to sit there and say, well, I know because look at it. It's scary when you just look at it. This person's educated. You listen to a person speak and you automatically understand that person on certain levels. What I'm asking you to do in this class is start to unpack that, start to reflect on that. You hear me speak and you make certain assumptions about me. You hear people in the hall speak and you make assumptions about them. Now let's turn that faculty to writing. Let's see how we know who Thoreau is. How do we know he's educated?
His vocabulary.
His vocabulary, excellent. So which vocabulary words up here are the mark of an educated person? We already have abused and perverted. What else? You sound scared. Rapidly and systematically, absolutely. Uneducated people say fast. Yes? Liable. Nice. Where are we on that?
A little bit less of abuse.
Good. Liable. It's a fancier word than responsible or guilty. Michael?
Inexpedient.
Inexpedient. Yeah, and of course, contrasted with expedient. Gretchen? Comparatively. Yeah, where do we have that? Good. Last one. Many and weighty. Yes. Weighty, definitely. If you also look at his sentence structure, you'll find that his sentences are enormously complicated as well. He likes to write long sentences with a lot of different clauses, all correctly punctuated. By the way, this is a forecast of next year. Thoreau is one of the most important figures in American literature, and junior year, regardless of what class you take, is always American Lit. Speaking of American Lit, the Scarlet Letter. So group 3 back there. Talk to me about, well, I'll just do this really quickly. This is a little bit of literary analysis, actually. Scarlet Letter is a very famous American novel. And which of the 3 claims do you think is coming out of this? Where?
Out of sentences, the first sentence where it talks about victims and moves on to talk about threats to remove her child from her care. So it makes you feel sympathy towards this person.
Dealing with pathos, and the emotion is sympathy. It's very good. Why do we feel sympathy for Hester Prynne out of the first line? Hester Prynne only seems to be a victim in the Scarlet Letter.
They associate her name with the victim.
Okay, hold on. Actually, I want to rephrase that. I want to take a look at the first two sentences. Hester Prynne only seems to be a victim in the Scarlet Letter. In truth, she refuses the role of victim time and again as she acts on her own behalf and on the behalf of her child. Why do we feel sympathy for this woman out of those first two sentences? That's true. Do we like people who stick up for themselves? Yeah, absolutely, right? That's a value of character in our society. So we don't like people who are passive and weak and constantly never talk. We like people who stick up for themselves and actually say what's on their mind and what they believe. What else in those two sentences is a character trait that we like? Absolutely. She's defending her child. Guess what? You've just created the character that the reader connects with. And this person, this writer, has intentionally written those two sentences to give character traits to Hester Prynne that are admirable. And suddenly, you like Hester Prynne. You admire her, and when they talk about what happens to her in this novel, you'll feel sympathy. If you're not familiar with Hester Prynne, she is the protagonist of the Scarlet Letter. She's guilty of adultery because she has a baby out of wedlock, and she has to wear a big scarlet A on her clothing. So if you've ever heard of that, a big scarlet A written on the clothing, that's because for adultery. So she has to wear it around this Puritan town. Everybody knows, and it's a big mark of shame, whatever. She kind of wears it with pride after a while. She's a good character.